Having been read 3 times, shall the bill be passed? All in favor will vote aye. All opposed will vote no. The clerk will open the roll. The clerk will close the roll. There are 51 ayes, 17 nays. The bill is passed. Gentleman for the 69. All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The bill is in the Senate. The Assembly is adjourned.
To say it's been an interesting 48 hours in Wisconsin is an understatement.
What you just saw was the state assembly exploding as the budget repair bill is passed. Joining us now by phone is Democrat Senator Jon Erpenbach from Illinois. Senator, your reaction to the assembly passing the bill?
Well, I knew they were going to pass it at some point, and I know the Assembly Democrats were trying to amend it any way they possibly could. Not to stop it, but obviously to try and make something that's a very bad piece of legislation and pretty damaging better. But, I admire their fight. How long were they on the floor? Like 60 hours?
60 hours. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, no, I mean, we knew it was going to pass, and we knew it eventually would end up in the Senate.
Senator, does this put pressure on the 14 of you to return, or does it give you resolve to stay away and keep the debate, at least among the people, going?
Well, no, we're trying to keep the debate among the Democrats and the Republicans going. But no, it doesn't change either way, Rob, because we were sort of expecting this to happen. Mark Miller, who's the Senate Democrat leader, and Scott Fitzgerald, the Senate Republican leader, talk every day. We're trying to come to some sort of resolution on this. There are all sorts of things that we are not comfortable with, and we know the majority of the people of the state of Wisconsin are not comfortable with. Just a matter of picking the item you're not comfortable with. But no, we knew this was going to happen. We obviously have admired the Assembly Democrats, but we're staying put until the governor says he's willing to sit down and make a few changes.
Senator, you've probably heard this a million times before, and you probably will hear this another million times. But again, what do you say to people who say you and the other senators are acting cowardly and need to come back and do your jobs?
Right. It's a good question, and you're right. We get asked all the time, but we feel very strongly we are not acting cowardly at all, and we are absolutely doing our job. Not only are we standing up for thousands of people throughout the state of Wisconsin who want to make changes, or at least, or at the most, want to have this entire piece of legislation killed, to the idea that we are also talking with our constituents. We're answering work emails. We're signing on to legislation. We're no longer able to participate in committee, but that's a decision the Republican leadership made. But no, we're absolutely doing our jobs.
If the governor were to call you, Senator, and say, okay, the 14 of you, come back to Madison, let's sit down in the conference room, just the 14 of you and the governor, to talk, do you trust him after what he said in this prank phone call about that?
I'll tell you what, a couple of days ago, we certainly would have given it a lot of thought and talked about it a lot, and maybe we would have, I don't know, but I don't think we're going to do it now. And you're right, that entire phone conversation that the governor had with somebody who he thought was a campaign contributor is causing everybody in the state of Wisconsin to think twice about what the governor's motives are here. And obviously, if we do get a call from him and say, hey, come on back, we'll cook some brats, we're going to think twice, and chances are we probably would.
Senator, one more thing I want to ask. You and some of the other senators have been everywhere, on
right.
National television. You've been on syndicated radio across the country. Did you expect this kind of reaction to happen, where you folks are everywhere?
Yeah, no, I actually expected this to be resolved a long time ago. I'm trying to think of something that is at the very heart of what the Republicans stand for. Like, this particular issue is at the very heart for part of what Democrats stand for, that would cause us to do something like this. Rob, this is an extreme move that we took. There's no doubt about that, but that's how strongly we feel about this particular issue. So the longer we stay, obviously, and given what's going on apparently now in Indiana and Ohio and other states, I hear there's going to be a 50-state protest over the weekend. Obviously, this is a pretty significant piece of legislation the governor has, a huge change he wants to make, and it is going to draw attention. But no, I didn't. I thought it would have been resolved maybe a day after we left.
Senator, 4 Republicans in the Assembly voted against this bill. Do you think that there are any other senators who might be against it? And I know, they're just hoping for one of you guys to break. But,
right.
How about the other side, somebody, possibly breaking on their side?
Right. Well, I can tell you this, Charlotte, 4 voted no because they still had 51 to pass it. If one of those 4 would have made a difference, then one of those 4 probably wouldn't have voted against it. There's a moderate group of Republicans, about 6 of them, who do not like the changes in the collective bargaining. They've said so. In as many words, they have a very pro-labor voting record. If you take a look at their previous votes, whether it's for contracts or just support unions and collective bargaining overall. You couple that along with the fact that they're also being painted with this broad brush of the governor's prank phone call, and they think that they were in on, whether it was the governor talking about the possibility of putting some troublemakers to try and raise a ruckus throughout the peaceful protests, or tricking us back, or whatever the case may be, and they don't like that at all. And I know they're very, very upset with the administration about just even the possibility of that phone call happening. So I don't know. Again, we're reaching out to them. I know Mark Miller and Scott Fitzgerald continue to talk every day, and hopefully, we can be home. We all just want to make no mistake about this, so people are very clear. We want to be home. We want to debate the issue. We want to have the vote, but at the same time, you saw what happened in the Assembly last night. They made absolutely no changes. And this is a very significant piece of legislation. This is a piece of legislation that, if it passes as is, will certainly change Wisconsin, and we think in a negative way.
Senator, in that prank phone call, the governor almost seemed to have shown his hand, if you will, that he was talking about, different ways to try to get you guys to come back into the state. He had alluded that on Thursday that they were going to talk about 5,000 to 6,000 at-risk notices could possibly go out. But that changed at 7:47 yesterday morning. As you know, that press release came out saying that you guys are jeopardizing Medicaid. It seems like it's possibly a different plan every day. Do you guys think okay, what's it going to be today?
Well, it's really frustrating because the governor asked for 5.5% and 12.5% for health care or for retirement health care, respectively, and the public employees gave it. So he has the money to balance his budget, but still he's coming out with these threats. He's taking just your hard-working public servant, no matter what they're doing around the state. They're very, very dedicated to what they're doing, and they've agreed to pay him the money. But he's using their jobs and their lives like poker chips. And he's up in the ante. He goes, well, okay, let's send out 1,500 layoff notices, or let's send 5,000 or 6,000 layoff notices, and it's the lack of compassion is truly amazing. And now coming out with the Medicare situations where, okay, if you're not going to do this, then we're going to take 200,000 kids and kick them off of Medicaid. So it's really frustrating. It's really hard to take what he's saying seriously in the fact that he has the money he needs to balance his budget.
Senator,
but still he continues to do these things.
Senator, we're running up against the clock. We certainly appreciate talking with you this morning.
You too.
Thank you, Senator Jon Erpenbach.